Oh, hello good people. Hey, I'm back. If you've just seen my new upload, go ahead and watch it. I need plenty of subscribers and viewers. But if you're not interested, I'm sorry that my videos are not as interesting as good as other people. I'm a guy who does public services course in a college, so cut me some slack. I actually do have a life, and I do want to do other stuff as well. And these videos are kind of me expressing my thoughts and opinions on sci-fi, science fiction, and expressing my own opinions about them. So bear with me. I may go off track, but we all love our genres. We all have our passions, and my videos may not be as good as like the Agents Arai, Timpedia, but they have a lot more special editing software than I do. I just use YouTube to express my brain and philosophy. So my last video, you saw my facts and opinions that Ned Stark's son, Jon Snow, bastard son, Jon Snow, is actually the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark, and also Daenerys is as well. And I will give the evidence for and against both ideas. For instance, one thing is about the one thing that I think R plus L and J is a really good theory, and it does kind of make sense because Ned Stark is an honourable guy, honourable to well, he was so honourable he died because he was honourable and a bit blind and stupid, but for instance, this guy refuses to kill Targaryen children, and he has a massive anger tantrum with Robert when Tywin Lannister, Gregor Clegane, and Jaime Lannister kill the Targaryen family. He says, "I think that the Lannisters should be punished, and Jaime should be trade his white cloak for a black cloak." He wanted Jaime Lannister to be sent to the wall, basically. He wanted him to join the Night's Watch and be out of our hands. Robb said no. Jaime was pardoned. Tywin was pardoned. They were forgiven. He married Cersei, and we know what happened there. So Ned Stark was a bit pissed off with Robert that he didn't have any anger towards Lannisters. He was quite happy about it, and that was the first falling out between Ned and Robb. Ned Stark is an honourable guy, and I honestly don't believe that he cheated with Catelyn, though. He's an honourable guy. I don't think he would cheat on her, though. And before he dies, he does list off the names of his children, and he does mention Jon. So that does prove the theory that Jon Snow is actually the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. But there's evidence to the contrary, though. Some people believe Daenerys. Some people believe Jon. Some people believe that Jon is actually the son of Brandon Stark and Ashara Dane. There's evidence for and against that idea. I do believe it's a possibility because Brandon was kind of a womanizer, and Ned was the shy wolf, where Brandon was kind of wolf-blooded and like, I don't give a shit. But he did fight Littlefinger over Catelyn, though. If he didn't really want to marry Catelyn, he could have said, nah, I'm not interested. And Peter Baelish can pedo Cat as much as he wants. But he did marry her. And plus there was no war, and there was no need for alliance. Robb married Catelyn for truth. No, Robb? Oh, sorry. Ned. Or Eddard. Or Ned. Ned married Catelyn for troops. He didn't marry her for love. He married her for money and armies to fight the Targaryens in the War of the Usurper. So Brandon married for love. I don't think he cheated on Catelyn, though. Yeah. And plus he beat the shit out of Littlefinger. Why would he do that, though? Well, Peter Baelish will not be much of a man to fight with. So he did actually care, because he beat the shit out of him, Peter Baelish. But So back on to what I was actually talking about. So yeah, there's evidence for and against. And well, before Lyanna Stark dies, Ned and 6 others travel to the Tower of Joy in Dorne, where they accompany the Three Kingsguard. So Arthur Dayne, Sir Jorah Hightower. I can't remember the other guy's name. My brain is a bit and they fight. And people believe the reason why not Daenerys was there, because, Jon technically, Viserys outclasses Daenerys in line of ascension because she's a girl. But then the kings, as Jamie says, the Jamie dilemma. They make you swear so many vows that the vows can also clash. So the reason why I believe they were there is because they were the most loyal and most dedicated friends of Rhaegar Targaryen. And Rhaegar was expecting a girl. If you hear the names that he was expecting a girl. But though the timeline of the War of the Usurper is so muddled up, because not much was written down. It lasted a year. Oh my gosh, it could have lasted a year and 6 months, and everyone's can remember because they're too busy swinging swords at each other. And the reason why I do think R plus L equals D and J is because if Ned Stark can lie about who Jon really is, and the look on his face in the Game of Thrones show when Jon mentions his mother, if that was a whore he had sex with to produce him, I wouldn't be that sad. And the way he was all like, next time we meet, we'll talk to you about your mother. And you can actually see in his face that he was near to bursting in tears. And that the fact that he refuses to kill Dany is something to mention. I think, and also he remembers the promise when he holds a baby, one of Robert's bastards, in the Hall house. He also remembers the promise when Robert was threatening to kill Daenerys, and before Robert dies, he tells Ned to not kill Daenerys, let her live. So there is evidence for and against. The Ashara Dayne is a possibility, but George R.R. Martin is hinting, but knowing George R.R. Martin, he'll probably just blow it all away with a superly good reveal or a big pile of crap that doesn't make any sense. But from my opinion, I do support the idea that Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen did have sex, or did she go with her own will, or was she kidnapped? Lyanna Stark sees Robert Baratheon as a friend, but he Claire's undying love. But he was quite familiar with shagging girls and having low bastards, because look what he did to Cersei. He had 16, bastard children inside their marriage. So Lyanna Stark kind of sees Robert as a friend, but not the one to fall in love with. But in the tourney of in the actual tourney at Harrenhal, she actually Rhaegar sings a song that makes Lyanna Stark cry, and her brother Benjen says, "Hey, it's only a song," and then she pours wine on his head, and that she actually has some feelings for Rhaegar. And she can fight. She's a Stark. She was like Arya, and plus Arya is said to look like Lyanna, and Lyanna is said to look like Jon. And plus, Jon likes blue flowers, and Daenerys loves blue flowers, and blue winter roses are usually referred to Lyanna Stark. In the other hand, you have Daenerys, who supports the fire god. In the other hand, you have Jon, the old gods. One of fire, one of ice. The song of ice and fire. And the prophecy of Azor Ahai, and the prince was promised, the 3 heads of the dragon, is all one prophecy. It's all one. The evidence suggests that it's all one prophecy. But all we know, I could be shafted in this theory and we can all be screwed. But this is just my thoughts about it. I would love to hear your own thoughts. Post it in the comments below and I'll either agree with you or not. My personal opinion, I do believe that Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar are fostered twins, because before she dies, she's found in a pile of blood. The blood in a bed of blood. She could have been stabbed, or she could have given birth. And in the crypts of Winterfell, Ned Stark breaks centuries of tradition in making monuments to his father, Lyanna Stark, and Brandon Stark. That kind of suggests that, yeah, there are so many theories. I kind of support L plus R plus L equals J, B and A equals G. I believe, but we need for George R.R. Martin either to confirm our suspicions of Jon and Daenerys, or completely blow us out of the water with another theory. Because there are 2 books coming out, The Winds of Winter and Ease of Spring, and it will be 2010 until that book comes out. So I'm hoping that I'm right, but I'm happy to be wrong. And in my other video, I'll give you more descriptions about Daenerys' dreams, or I'll give you a link to another video, another Game of Thrones fans' theories. My personal theory, I do believe that Jon and Daenerys are twins, and that the fact that Ned Stark can lie to Jon, or think that he can lie, he could be his bastard son, and all our theories can be shafted, but Ned Stark is too honourable for that. Well, any guy can get horny, but it's so confusing and interesting, this. I could be right, I could be wrong, I could be partially right, but I could be totally wrong. So many theories of Game of Thrones, it's hard to catch up with. And that the fact that Daenerys and Quaithe keeps telling Daenerys to remember who you are, and that Jon, and that in the show it just kind of hinted that Daenerys is and Jon is, but obviously they are related. If Brandon Stark had sex with Ashara Dayne and Daenerys is the daughter of Rhaegar and Lyanna, they are related in blood, but I believe they're twins, and because Daenerys is 14, Jon is 14, so is Robb, but Robb was born a couple months after Jon, but the problem is the 2 heads of the dragon. The 3rd head of the dragon, I think, is Tyrion. I'll do that in another video. And it's actual fact that Aerys actually lusted over Joanna Lannister, Tywin's wife, and that the fact of her death was and Tyrion's birth was caution of abortion. So yeah, but does it match the actual world that George R.R. Martin? Yes and no, because Game of Thrones does have this magical ooh about it, but also it has the aggression of today's life. It's technically it's a Middle Ages fantasy with a bit of real history in between. For instance, Lyanna Stark is technically the Helen of Troy of the of Game of Thrones. Her kidnapping or abduction or kidnapping or went free started the entire war, and it laid in the seeds to the Game of Thrones that we know today. So I believe my theory. Check in for part 3. This is Sam Waller, and I bid you farewell.